Welcome to the Retro Video Store Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to the Retro Video Store Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
And that's my co-host, Neil.
I'm Neil, and who is looking to start a new streak of attendance?
Dave's here.
Dave is here. David is here, and he's got brand new, faster internet, and he's at home for once. I can see him with no lag, and he has the show notes open and everything. It's like a whole new world.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole new experience. Too bad you can't watch any porn in Utah, but it's a whole new experience with this fast internet.
Yeah, you were telling me about that one right before we recorded. I can't believe they've filtered that out. That's like it's like living in Russia, man.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with it, but yeah, it doesn't affect my life any. I still have to use my sore or my poor imagination.
Well, it's a good thing that the state of Utah knows what's best for you.
Yeah,
I bet you can still buy almost any gun you want, though.
Yeah.
But you can't touch yourself.
So today we are going to talk about Lake Placid from 1999, a good old-fashioned giant monster animal movie, which is a lot of fun. And but before we do that, we're going to do what we always do and talk about what we watched this week. Let's go with Neil this week. Neil, what did you watch this week?
I watched a lot of stuff this week, but the most important thing that I watched was Dune Part 2.
How was it?
It was good. It was
That's what I'm hearing.
Good. My wife said she even wants to go watch it again. She enjoyed it so much. And I like that there were some things. There's some things. I like the direction that Denis Villeneuve took it. As far as like some of the themes from the book, he definitely interpreted it a different way than David Lynch did. Really, really good, man.
That's
really
what I'm hearing.
Good.
I'm hearing raves about it. Obviously, you're an old school Dune fan. You've read the book, so your opinion matters a lot to me on the way the movie is going. But I hear lots of really good things. Andrew and I are going to watch it next week, probably hopefully Saturday on a big screen like XD or IMAX or something.
Has he read the book?
No.
Yeah,
Have you seen the other beginning movie?
I would encourage him to read the book because there's a lot of subtext. I think you watch the movie and enjoy it without doing that, but having read the book and getting some of the source material is actually really good. And the way they ended it, they've left it directly open for an interpretation of Dune Messiah, which is the book after.
Nice.
And some things happen in there too. There's some things happen.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. What else did you watch, though? You said you watched a lot.
No, I don't give a shit about anything else. I watched Dune 2. It was so good. But the most disappointing thing was I wanted to get the sex toy popcorn thing.
Uh-huh.
But I saw it at Cinemark, and apparently that's only at AMC.
Yeah, only at AMC theaters, yeah.
God dang it, I totally forgot that. So that was where I bought my tickets. Super disappointed.
I did see on Instagram where a certain female Instagram lady lined up a fleshlight with the opening of the popcorn bucket. It fit exactly into the popcorn bucket just perfectly. So there you go. If you want to let your spice flow, you can do it that way.
When you finish, you have to go Shai Halud. Blessed be the maker. Blessed be his comings and his goings.
Or blessed be his water. Yes.
So. Yeah. All right. Nobody cares what you watch, Eric. Dave, it's all about you and me right now, buddy. What'd you watch?
Well, I guess it does matter what Eric watched because I didn't watch anything this week. I had a busy week and then went out to Sacramento and taught and then came back. And so this is really my first time to relax.
Okay, boom. Cool. We're right into talking about the movie Lake Placid, 1999. 4 people attempt to stop a giant crocodile who was terrorizing residents in Black Lake, Maine. Thoughts on the film, Dave?
I think we forgot to ask Eric what he watched.
You'd never know from that shitty grin on his face.
Eric, what did you watch this week?
I did watch Dune, the first part, yesterday. and because I kind of wanted to refresh myself with the story before I watched the second part, and I watched it. It was awesome. I actually liked it way better now watching it with like a kind of a break in between seeing it the first time, and it's awesome. I think the way Villeneuve does all of the direction and the art direction, cinematography, all the costumes and everything look amazing. And it's just, it's not just dusty Star Wars. It's much better. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I watched, on HBO Max or just on HBO, they've been showing the same stuff over and over again. I watched part of Dodgeball again. But one thing I did do, which I have not done in a long time, is I actually played video games this week. I downloaded a game called They Are Billions, which is like a real-time strategy tower defense zombie horde game. It's super, super fun. I've played already like 8 hours of the game already. It's like $29 on Steam, and it's not very graphic intensive, but it's really cool. They Are Billions. It's called They Are Billions. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. It kind of, I love real-time strategy games and tower defense, so this kind of scratches both itches there. It's a lot of fun until you let one single zombie inside your compound, then he eats a villager, then they turn into zombies, and then they attack one of your buildings, and then everybody in that building turns into zombies, and then you're screwed. Yeah, but it's pretty fun. Then I watched this twice to make this week. But I didn't really feel bad watching it twice because this movie is short. It is 82 minutes long. It's not very tough watch. And I think this is jumping into the movie, this is one of those things that they need to do more of. You need like short 90-minute R-rated slasher and creature features now. Just something that just doesn't skimp on the gore, is fun, and is fast. I think we need more of those types of movies. Something you can just watch in 90 minutes and have fun.
Every single one of them needs to have Betty White.
Yeah, she was super funny in this. I forgot. I mean, I actually had not seen this since it came out on video, and I remember liking it and watching maybe parts of it on HBO, but I didn't really remember the core plot that much. And it's a super simple movie, but it's pretty fun.
This was a good movie for myself and the missus because we got married January 1st, and we were in Santa Cruz, California. We had hardly any money, and we went down to watch an early screening of this, and that was like a big splurge, like a really big splurge in the budget was to go to a movie, and we both loved it. Sammy loves this movie. Loves it.
That's cool.
Especially every time Betty White starts, telling off the cop, calling him Sherlock, wishing the chomping of law enforcement. She's just totally digging that.
That's where she says, "If I had a dick, this is the part where I'd tell you to suck it."
Suck it, yeah. This is still a very quotable film around my household.
That's funny. Well, I think that's the best part of the movie, but also kind of the worst part of the movie at the same time, depending on your view, is that it's very quirky. There's a lot of quirky dialogue and interactions and stuff. But if you're in a certain mood, if good mood for it, it's really funny. If not, then a lot of the main complaints about the movie when we talk about the reviews is that people thought it was a little too, the dialogue was a little too arch and a little too forced. But I thought it was actually really funny, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. David, when did you first see this?
I think I saw it in the theaters when it came out. When did it come out, Eric? Let me look at you.
99. July 16th of 1999.
I went and watched this one in the theaters.
Yeah, we were living in Albuquerque by this time, and I remember not seeing this in theater, but I remember going to Hastings, good old Hastings, and picking this up on VHS before I had a DVD player. So,
yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. Neil, go ahead again with the Internet Movie Database tagline.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking about quotes. That's all I was doing right now. Oh, you've ruined it for me. And all I was thinking about was Oliver Platt's amazing delivery of all the weird shit he said in this movie. So much. Yeah. 4 people attempt to stop a giant crocodile who is terrorizing residents in Black Lake, Michigan. They wanted to call it Lake Placid, but I hear the name was taken.
Yes. Black Lake, Maine.
Oh, did I say Michigan?
Yes.
I just
You know what
realized
is
Michigan, Black Lake, Maine. You know what? It'd been even more amazing had it been in Michigan.
Yes, a lot bigger alligator and more people to eat.
Just every now and then the alligator would come out looking for cheese, and someone would go blue.
So this was directed by Steve Miner, and we have unintentionally.
Why couldn't they find anybody old enough to do it,
or somebody in a mine,
or somebody underground?
Yeah, we've unintentionally reviewed 5 movies directed by Steve Miner on this podcast, which I think is maybe more than any other director that we have covered. Maybe John Carpenter is pretty close, but Steve Miner secretly has had a really good run with movies that we enjoy. Friday the 13th Part 2, the best Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th Part 3, one of the best ones. House, which we'll eventually get to, which is a fun movie I remember watching a shitload of on HBO.
Shit.
On HBO was House. Then he had an issue, had a kind of a bad spell. He did Soul Man, one of the most notoriously awful movies of the 80s, with C. Thomas Howell dressed in blackface trying to get into a university on a affirmative action scholarship.
Sounds like a kid's book about werewolves.
Soul Man?
C. Thomas
Howell.
Nobody? All right. Whatever.
Hold on.
You plebeians. I'm wasting this stuff on you.
Then he did Warlock, which we have covered on the podcast, which is a pretty damn good movie. Lots of fun. Just a quirky kind of a supernatural movie. Then he did Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, which I have not seen, but it's got horses in it as far as I know. Forever Young with Mel Gibson. My Father the Hero, which is another awful movie with Gerard Depardieu and Katherine Heigl, who playing his daughter, who is also pretending to be his lover to impress somebody else in the movie. Terrible, terrible plot. Big Bully in '96, which I have not seen. It's got Rick Moranis and Tom Arnold. Not seen that. Halloween H20, 20 years later, one of the which we'd covered a couple of months ago. Not the best one, but entertaining. Listen to that one if you want to hear all our issues with that movie. Lake Placid, which is our subject today. Then he did Texas Rangers, which I have not seen, with James Van Der Beek and Ashton Kutcher. Ugh.
Well, that tells you a little bit about the film right there.
Yeah. Did a remake of Day of the Dead in 2008, and then Private Valentine, Blonde and Dangerous in 2008, a movie starring Jessica Simpson, which looks awful. Look at the poster for that.
I'm okay. I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has a lot of other cool stuff that he's been involved in. He was producer on the original Last House on the Left, did a thing called Video Vixens. Friday the 13th was producer, and Night of the Creeps was a producer. So some good stuff. A lot of TV as well. But yeah, we have inadvertently done a Steve Miner Film Festival if you listen to enough of the episodes in order there. So good on you, Steve Miner. So, but this was written by David E. Kelly, and he wrote a bunch of like prestige dramas on TV. And, he's done a lot of TV work. L.A. Law, he did some work there. Picket Fences, Chicago Hope, The Practice, Ally McBeal, Boston Public, Boston Legal. So he's got a lot of bona fides for writing. And I think that's maybe what makes this movie a little bit better than your run-of-the-mill creature feature is the dialogue and the writing are funnier and a little bit more memorable than, like, say, Alligator or something like that, even though Alligator was written by John Sayles.
Yep, lots of nodding happening.
I meant to watch Alligator this week, but I didn't get a chance to. It's definitely a memorable one from 1980. I just remember the alligator chasing people in the sewers, being scared of that as a kid.
You know what's super memorable? Oliver Platt in this movie.
Yes, he's super good in this movie. This was released on July 16th of 1999. Budget was 27 to 35 million. I don't know why there's such variance there. Made 59.5 million at the box office. And of course, creature effects by Stan Winston Studios. I kind of feel sometimes that Stan Winston doesn't get as much credit as, say, Rob Bottin, Rick Baker, or Tom Savini, but he is amazing. He's done a lot of good stuff. So, cast is Bill Pullman as Jack Wells, Bridget Fonda as Kelly Scott. Bridget Fonda is a very 90s actress, and I remember being very fond of her.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I see it. God damn it. I get it now. I was too, Eric.
Yeah, she was super, super cute. I liked her in a lot of the movies she was in. It's kind of interesting that she kind of fell off from acting, but she's married to Danny Elfman, of all people, which is interesting.
The weird thing is I watched this. I think this is why social media and all technology is spying on us. Watched the movie, opened up Reddit to look through a forum because I wanted to post a question about something. And then as I go through, I have entertainment news, and there was an article about Bridget Fonda not wanting to be in Hollywood anymore because she enjoys being a quote unquote civilian.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't read the article, but it was a little bit creepy that was what popped right up in my entertainment feed right after watching the movie.
Well, about a year ago, I was kind of pissed because they, TMZ or somebody followed her around and they asked her some questions, and they're like, "Oh, Bridget, where have you been?" And na. And obviously she's 62 now, so she doesn't look like she did when she was an actress, and she looks like an average 62-year-old woman. She's not an actress anymore. She's not, looking to look like an actress or anybody who's going to be screen ready or anything like that. And I felt it was kind of cruel that they were chasing her around. I mean, everybody gets old, everybody gains weight. It comes for all of us. And I hate when they go and people go, "Oh, she doesn't look the same anymore." Well, do you look the same as you did in 1999?
She retired in 2002. I was reading about that before. So she just literally quit and didn't want to be seen again. So
she had a bad car accident in 2003 where she ruptured a couple of vertebrae and, was just pretty injured.
Here's what matters. Here's what matters. She's married to Danny Elfman. Does Danny Elfman like the way she looks? And does she like the way she looks? Other than that, TMZ can suck it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have yet to see anything from that media outlet that didn't make me want to punch somebody in the face, especially those little weasels that they got following people around asking them jackass questions.
Yeah, that kind of stuff totally bugs me. Just leave people alone. But continuing with the cast, Brendan Gleeson as Sheriff Hank Keogh, and Jamie and I are watching this together, and she's like, "Isn't he Mad-Eye Moody?" And I'm like, "Is he?
He is.
He is."
And he has made, and of course, now that I'm going to bring it up, he made 2 movies with Colin Farrell. Something of Inverness and In Bruges. Those 2.
Yeah, In Bruges, and I heard the Banshees of Inisherin is really good.
So both of those movies are awesome. There is a scene where they go drinking and fight with a little person in Bruges. Absolutely hilarious. And yeah, both movies are fantastic.
It's kind of interesting to see a very Irish actor play an American sheriff in Maine, and sometimes his accent would kind of creep out a little bit in certain things he would say, but he was a lot of fun in this one. And going back to you, Neil, Oliver Platt,
God, he was so good in this. So good. Sheriff, when friends or family say certain things, they tend not to register, so it helps to hear it from a complete stranger. You're fat. It was so fucking funny.
God, they're dancing. He's just doing this the whole time, but he's like
the little crosses arms and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have such big, wonderful boobs.
Yeah, you're a cop. What a dangerous job. You have such big, wonderful boobs.
And speaking of Meredith Salinger, who does or did or then maybe probably still does possess big, wonderful boobs, so she was the deputy Sharon Gare, and she was super hot in the 90s. I really enjoyed her in the movies that she was in. She's married to Patton Oswalt now, which is kind of cool. It's an interesting pairing. And of course, Betty White was awesome in in this movie. She steals whatever scene she's in.
Yeah, she does.
She's super memorable and funny, and she just has that classic line delivery, and she's just a class act any way you go. And every once in a while on like an Instagram, they'll show feed, you'll see like a scene from Golden Girls or whatever, and those ladies had the best comic timing, and that show was so far ahead of ahead of its time and subject matter and stuff like that. It's still super funny.
It even had Quentin Tarantino as an Elvis impersonator.
Yes, I remember that.
In Golden Girls?
Yes, in the Golden Girls.
On Golden
It's
Girls.
one of his first roles. Yeah. And Mariska Hargitay was in this movie, very young.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yes. Adam Arkin, who would be in this movie and in Halloween H20. I hate calling it H2O because it doesn't have anything to do with water.
Thank God he didn't have a huge speaking part, because listening to him speak sometimes it just drives me a little bit batty.
And he wasn't chewing any gum.
Yeah, or chewing and acting
with mouthfuls of food, going at the ladies.
There is surprisingly not much critical response for this, but if you wouldn't mind reading it.
Rotten Tomatoes. The film has an approval rating of 47%, based on 95 reviews, with an average rating of 5.10 of 10, which is a tragic, tragic shame. The site's critical consensus reads, Betty White's delightful supporting turn may be worth the price of admission alone, but Lake Placid is swamped by a smarmy script and inability to deliver on the creature feature mayhem. You shut your whore mouth. Can't believe you even wrote that. On Metacritic, the film has a weighted average score of 34 out of 100 based on 25 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. I'm already so angry. I don't know if I can finish this, Eric. This is ridiculous. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C because the people rating it were morons. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 1 out of 4 stars. I need a second with that one. Describing it as completely wrong-headed from beginning to end. He put it on his list of the 10 worst films of the year. Andrew Collins of Empire gave the film 4 out of 5 stars because someone had to be the fucking voice of reason, writing that you can enjoy Placid as a straightforward camping holiday nightmare or as a sly, ironic take on the same. It works deliciously as both. Andrew Collins, you're doing God's work. Good for you.
And I was curious to read some of the user reviews on the Internet Movie Database, because usually you can kind of get the real view of the audience, and so many people love this movie. And it's so funny that it was rated so badly when it came out, but it's one of those movies that people like, just kind of like your experience with Sammy when watching it. It is funny and it's quick and it's enjoyable. It hits those kind of like a popcorn movie you watch on a Saturday and just really enjoy. And it's a cult classic, and there's 3 sequels to it, if you can believe that.
I thought there was more than that. I thought there was more than 3.
Let me go back and look. I know that it is pretty bad, the number of sequels. Let's look here. Lake Placid 2 came out in 2007. 3, okay, so I'm wrong. Lake Placid, the final chapter in 2012. Lake Placid versus Anaconda in 2015, and Lake Placid Legacy 2018. So
yeah,
wow.
as soon as you say last chapter, you got a couple more in the pipe.
Yeah.
So 6 total in the Lake Placid series. It's kind of like the Hellraiser of crocodile movies, where they just keep putting out direct to video.
At some point, they've just got a chihuahua in a Halloween costume just trotting around the place. It just gets bad.
It makes me laugh. There's sometimes movies like this, which are really find their audience on video and cable, and they start pushing out these sequels, and how varying in the quality there are, especially like the Starship Troopers sequels are freaking awful.
Oof.
Hellraiser sequels are awful.
Except, well, the reboot was good.
Yeah, the reboot is good, but I'm counting the direct-to-video sequels off beyond number 2 and 3. But they just kind of live on because people enjoy them. And that's kind of like where, this movie, in a lot of movies we do, they don't get the critical love that they deserve, but then it's the people like us who watch them on video and then rent them and then have a good time. And this is one of those movies I'm sure even as a kid you would watch and just enjoy it because it's got everything you want. It's got people's heads getting bit off, people getting bitten in half, giant monsters, giant animals eating other giant animals. I mean, it's what is there not to enjoy in this movie?
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Hilarious scene with the.
Go ahead, Neil.
And a hilarious scene with a severed toe.
Yes. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, it was leading up to that was the toe, and then when they were making the mold casting, and then the head just rolled out.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, how long's that been there? Like, how did they not smell a decomposing head 5 feet away from him? But you loved it because it made you laugh. And, but he pokes it with a stick instead of like, oh, let's take a look and see who this is. He's like jabbing it with the stick. I don't know. It's stupid, but I love this movie, man. I always have.
Yeah, really, it's just a fun movie. It doesn't have any pretension to be anything else besides just a fun ride for an hour and a half. And there needs to be more movies like that. Like I said at the beginning, it's just a fun 90-minute fix of gore and suspense and giant monsters.
Carbohydrate movies, man, they're necessary.
Exactly. I agree with your theory on that totally.
And it was successful because in your notes you said what was it made for and what did it make?
It was reasonably successful, and it was a $35 million budget, $56 million in box office, so it turned a profit. But this is a kind of the quintessential cable movie. I remember watching this. It was showed on like sci-fi, a lot. And this is definitely kind of influential on the sci-fi movies like Sharknado and Sharktopus and all those other type of movies that come out. Piranha.
Sharkalanche. That's something we really need to look into, are all the shark movies. I was going through a few. I even got a couple on Tubi because I noticed that on the old smart TV, the Tubi icon changed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they updated it. So I went and looked at the new Tubi.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I did copy a list of natural horror movies, and these are the ones made about alligators and crocodiles. The Great Alligator River in 1979, Alligator in 80, Killer Crocodile in 89, Lake Placid in 99, a movie called Crocodile, Blood Surf in 2001, Black Water, which is an Australian one, which I hear is good, Croc in 2007, Primeval, which I have not seen. That one called Crawl actually looked pretty good, where there's like a flood. It was produced by Sam Raimi, where the people are like caught in a flood and there's a bunch of alligators and stuff, and it looks pretty. It's supposed to be pretty good. I've
seen that one. Sammy and I went and watched it. That's actually pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. But
I ask you a question though. I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
All right, got a quick question. How many of those movies have Oliver Platt?
Only this one, as far as I know.
Just one.
Yeah, he's super funny in this. Let's talk about the movie a little bit. I do kind of like it starts pretty cool with the guy who's the beaver tagger.
He's what?
He's tagging that beaver.
What's he do?
Damn, beaver. Yeah. No. It's got that typical Jaws underwater footage where you see dangling limbs and other things just getting, enticing to whatever predator's going to chew him up while the sheriff eats Twinkies in a boat. And it's a nice gory scene where he pulls the top half of the guy out of the water. His guts are hanging out and stuff. It's super fun. It's what you want. What you want in this movie.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about the toe still. He seemed taller. I'm still thinking about the toe.
Yeah, there are so many lines in this movie that are super funny. Once again, Bridget Fonda was super fine. I enjoyed her movies. Bill Pullman is being Bill Pullman, just kind of relaxed, kind of unaffected by things kind of guy.
He's whole sentence sarcastic.
Bridget Fonda's character is the uptight non-field analyst paleontologist, And I thought she was a little annoying at the beginning, but she became less annoying as the movie went on. You thought she was going to be that kind of like, oh no, kind of a Ray Don Chong's character in Commando, where she just in the entire time.
Let's not sully her performance with even mentioning Ray Don Chong.
Or Judy Aronson in American Ninja.
Holy crap. No, she had me when they pulled the moose head and flop it onto the boat, and then her first reaction was just to slap the shit out of him.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
She had me right there. She's like, you know what? That made me mad. Pow! Just gave the guy a hot one.
Did she slap him twice?
Yeah, she slapped him twice.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah.
So she gets sent out to Maine to help investigate the killing, and she's out there and sees the tooth, and then sees the corpse, and they go out and check the lake, and they meet Mrs. Bickerman, played by Betty White, who is kind of vague about her husband's mysterious death, which we find out more about later.
Hit him on the head with a skillet, buried him under the bulkhead.
Mm-hmm.
Go dig him up if you want.
Yep, Moosehead and Meredith Salinger is the deputy, and we meet Hector, the eccentric crocodile scientist groupie guy. And
I already told you my name. I'll get back to you once it sinks in.
Yep, there's some romantic tension between Kelly and Jack. Pretty funny. And what did he say to him when he was getting ready to dive into the water? Why don't you bite the bark?
I got a pork chop that you could hang around your neck. And he was like, oh, it's great. Maybe we come back. Maybe you can chew the bark off my big fat log.
Yes. And he's like, was that a homosexual remark?
A homosexual remark? I love when he digs the traps. When he's having the traps. And he's doing the spring trap. He's asking what it's about, and he's like, this could end up saving your life, which is meaningful to you because the longer you live, the more sex you get to have with your sister. It's so good.
I missed that one.
Oh,
yeah, it is a super super quotable movie. How many times does Kelly get knocked out of the boat? At least 2 immediately. When they're exploring the lake the first time, and then she gets knocked out of the boat again when they're going underneath when Hector and Jack are going underneath the boat. And then, of course, random deputy gets his head bitten off in a fun way. You knew something. He was dead. You go out on the boat with the 3 main characters.
And we don't know who you are.
Exactly. You're going to die. So
you're basically a red shirt.
I was going to say he should have been wearing a red Starfleet shirt, and then he would have even been more obvious of dying. Well,
he was. I think one of the guys digging the hole, right? That what's his name paid $500 to. He's like, it was $500.
Did you get that in cash? You give us a check.
I just like you mentioned when they find the deputy's head, that was pretty funny. And then, of course, it leads to finding Mrs. Bickerman feeding the gigantic cow, or feeding the cow to the gigantic crocodile.
What was it? It didn't eat us. Why didn't it eat us? It just ate a cow, stupid. At least they give Bill Pullman one good line.
Yeah. She'd been feeding the cow for 6 years, and it also ate her husband. So, yeah. The crocodile is only in the movie like 3 minutes and 46 seconds, but they do a good job of making it look huge. And the animatronics are really, really well done. I think they have a lot of pretty good suspense. This movie is just short, but it's fun, and I like the way they have the near miss, and they decide they want to trap the crocodile. They use the cow as bait, and that whole scene is pretty well done.
I'm just going through his lines in my head.
Keep going. Flesh out the podcast.
That's all it happened. Was it? We're getting lower. That's what happens when I land. Love it. Love it.
It's funny, but yeah, it's the movie is fun. They trap the alligator inside the helicopter, and of course they introduce the gun at the beginning, and it would be completely a setup that doesn't happen if they don't shoot it. So there was a second crocodile we didn't know about, and they blow it away. So there you go. Chekhov's gun.
There's 2 I can count. Boom. Back to 1.
Of course, you see Miss Bickerman feeding the baby crocodiles. The end. That's it, basically. I mean, we're only 45 minutes in, but we are. That's the movie.
Well, that's it. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Well, I did include.
How was this podcast so vigorous?
I did include a list of giant animal movies that we looked a little bit at, but
Do kaiju count?
No, kaiju do not count. But for when it comes to spiders, you got Kingdom of the Spiders from 1977, which I have seen. Arachnophobia. Have we done Arachnophobia yet?
Nope.
Oh, we got to do that sometime. That's a good one. Ticks, which I have not seen. I remember seeing the box at the video store quite a bit. And then Eight-Legged Freaks, which is the subject of our next movie next week. We're going to be talking about Eight-Legged Freaks, which I think is a fun, gory, gross, giant spider movie with David Arquette. There's one called Big Ass Spider, which I have not seen. That definitely sounds like a sci-fi movie to me.
Don't most of them look like they have a big ass, though?
They do. And Lavalantula. Have you seen Lavalantula?
I've seen Lavalantula. Lavalantula is exactly what you would expect a movie named Lavalantula to be. You don't go with high expectations. You just get to see Steve Guttenberg making a little bit of a check. Ian Ziering pulls in a little cameo in there, too. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Volcanic eruptions in Los Angeles unleash a swarm of gigantic lava-breathing tarantulas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like I said, you get exactly what you expect. It's like when you watch Three-Headed Shark, you're wondering to yourself, is there going to be a three-headed shark in this movie? Yes, there's a three-headed shark in this movie.
Have you seen The Bay? That is a really underrated movie. It's actually pretty good. Directed by Barry Levinson, came out in 2012. It's sort of a mockumentary type thing, but it's actually really good. Giant crustaceans in that one.
No, I haven't seen it.
And of course, you've got The Birds from Hitchcock, Beak the movie, Birdemic, Shock and Terror, which is mutated birds. I have not seen that one. That is definitely a sci-fi level movie. In Birdemic 2, The Resurrection. I've seen Piranha. That's a good Joe Dante 1978 Roger Corman movie. Piranha 2, The Spawning, which is Flying Piranhas, directed by James Cameron. It's also a Roger Corman movie, which he one of his first directing efforts. And that's definitely, your film school. You work for Roger Corman, and then eventually you get a shot at directing your own cheesy movie, and they see how good you can do, and then you start making good movies after that. Piranha 3D, which is pretty damn funny. It's got Elizabeth Shue. Have you seen that one? I'm sure you've seen it, David. David, have you seen that one?
Yeah. I was actually going to ask you guys who do you think is hotter in this movie? This one with Bridget Fonda or Piranha 3D with Elizabeth Shue?
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
I enjoy Elizabeth Shue quite a bit. Both of them. Elizabeth Shue is still holding it down today. She was in the Karate Kid TV series, the Cobra Kai. She came back for a couple episodes, I think.
And in The Boys.
Yeah. I did not see Piranha 3 Double D, which is the sequel. I'll have to check that out. And then, of course, Jaws. Lots of Jaws movies. Jaws 2, Jaws 3. Great White, which is a Ruggero Deodato film, an famous Italian director of Cannibal Holocaust. Directed that one. Cruel Jaws, which is I've always wanted to see, another Italian Bruno Mattei movie. I think they got sued by the makers of Jaws because it was so close to being like Jaws. Shark Attack, I have not seen. Shark Attack 2, Megalodon, I have not seen. Many of these.
This is something just for Dave. Hey, Dave, don't you think it's cute how Eric throws out the name of these Italian directors like we know what the fuck he's talking about?
I know. I think Dario Fulci, maybe.
Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci.
Oh, you done messed up, Dave. You done messed up.
I knew it was something like that.
Ugh. Jeez. We are going to do Deep Blue Sea in a couple of weeks with a large genetically engineered shark for Monster March. I think we're going to do Eight-Legged Freaks, Deep Blue Sea, and then Tremors coming up. So that should be fun. Ants, Them, which is a classic where giant ants take on the New Mexico State Police in 1954.
Oh, great.
Empire of the Ants, which I think has Shatner in it. The Deadly Bees, Killer Bees, Savage Bees, The Swarm.
The bees.
The bees, not the bees. Grizzly, which is basically a 1976 remake of Jaws featuring a grizzly bear. I remember seeing that as a kid, but I have not seen it since then. The Prophecy, which is mutant bears. Remember the Prophecy? That was actually a pretty good one.
I remember both of those movies.
And even now, Cocaine Bear, which is pretty funny.
So good. So good. Tell me you've seen it, Dave.
I have. It is a good movie.
Good.
Yep. Dogs, The Pack, Cujo, The Breed, Frozen, Orca the Killer Whale. I remember seeing that in 1977. It's sad when the
flushed
Orca.
It right off the deck of the ship,
Yeah,
man. That's when he screwed up.
Exactly. She had Orca had its baby, and then the crew flushed it off the deck of the ship, and then it was on.
I guess that's actually a thing. Well, not like, I mean, obviously not flushing the baby over the side of the ship, but I guess orcas worldwide are starting to be a lot more aggressive towards boats and sharks.
I did see a news story about that, how they were out there coordinating attacks on boats and stuff like that, which is crazy. Nature gone amok. Pigs in 1973. Have not seen that one. Razorback, which is a pretty good movie. Australian. Russell Mulcahy directed that one. It's a funny, gigantic monster boar in the outback.
Where is it?
Out in the outback. Pig Hunt. Blood Monkey. That sounds like a good one. Direct-to-video natural horror film produced by RHI Entertainment. And it was premiered on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2008. So, there you go.
Awesome. Here's the problem with this movie being so short and us enjoying it, that we were done like 12 minutes ago.
Yes.
We had like a half hour of this, and now we're just padded out with lists of movies.
Well, this will be the shortest episode because we're rounding the corner here. Giant rat movie. Oh, Monkey Shines is actually a good one, where the guy's helper monkey goes crazy.
Oh, yeah, with the razor blade.
Yeah, that's a good one. Willard, giant rat movie. Ben, another giant rat movie. Deadly Eyes. That's a good one. Graveyard Shift. And there's another giant rat movie where the guy is in his apartment fighting the giant rat the entire movie. What is it named? It was really good. He used to show the shit out of it on HBO. And it's got like the guy is fighting a giant rat in his apartment. And he gets as crazy as the rat, and he's like fighting it through the walls and stuff. I think it's Peter Weller, isn't it? If I remember correctly.
Of Unknown Origin?
Yes, of Unknown Origin. What year did that come out?
That's 83.
Yep. Okay, I was right. I just couldn't remember the name of the movie. That was definitely an HBO standard. Night of the Lepus with giant rabbits that were just regular rabbits on miniature sets. That's a fun one. Slugs. Oh, Black Sheep. That's a good one. Mutant Sheep. That's a good one. Yes, Nature Run Amok. There's plenty of movies out there. But really, this will be the shortest episode of the Retro Video Store because we've talked about the movie. And we're just padding time, so.
We could just talk about Oliver Platt, this movie. You know, honestly, I have very little memory of him in any other films other than this.
Really?
Yeah, just like occasionally like a TV show thing will sort of pop up, but this really is my gold standard for Oliver Platt.
Let's see, filmography. Married to the Mob, Working Group.
One about a wrestler, I think, and it was a comedy, late 90s.
Yeah, Ready to Rumble.
Yeah. And he just
he's in The Bear. He's in The
spent
Bear. He
whole
plays the
movie-
uncle, kind of like underworld, sort of like connected uncle who bankrolls them starting a restaurant. He's pretty good in that.
I remember seeing him in that, and then actually I have not seen the Bear, so I do not remember seeing that one. So I'll take that one out. He was in the Ice Harvest, Bicentennial Man. He's been in a shitload of movies, but yeah, he's kind of those character actors that's been in tons of stuff. But yeah, he makes probably the biggest mark in this movie because
Was he in Fargo?
The TV show or the movie? He was in the TV show.
Yeah, I think it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Well, I think I watch more series than you do.
Yes, you do. But next week we'll talk about Eight-Legged Freaks, and I'll give you my short review of Dune. Hopefully, I've seen it by then.
Oh, you have to, because we need to talk about it, because we can't talk about things and interpretations until you do that, and I don't want to ruin the movie.
David, have you seen the first Dune yet?
I haven't.
It's on Netflix. You should check it out. It's really good.
Did you ever read the book? All right, so a whole fresh take for you then. And there's no whispering. There's no damn whispering.
Oh, like in the first movie?
It has a suspensor field. I must grip it tightly. You get treated like a grown-up and you have to infer things.
It looks amazing. If anything about the movie, the art direction and costumes and the special effects are freaking amazing. And I know this is probably, if I say this, it might turn you off from it, but people are saying it's the Lord of the Rings of this generation. David, does that entice you in any?
I think this is.
I've been refraining from calling you guys nerds.
I think that this is visually a lot better than the Lord of the Rings in some ways, because when there is CGI, it doesn't look like CGI. When these guys are walking around, like in Rivendell, you can say, okay, they're on a practical set, and everything behind them is definitely 100% like blue screen work and computer made. Where if there was anything like that in this movie, you couldn't tell.
I thought we're getting ready to witness a home invasion on video. David looked all scared on his camera for a second. He takes off his headset and he's looking around. I'm expecting some guy with a ski mask.
The state of Utah is coming in because they found out he's downloaded some things.
Yes, the porn police kicking his door. Were you on Pornhub?
I heard a weird noise or something. I was like,
are you looking at Mormon MILFs on Pornhub? All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Next movie will be longer, and hopefully we will have a little more talk about. It's just a fun movie. I mean, it's just.
Next one will be longer. Much like your wife, we've all grown tired of that excuse, Eric.
No. So, yeah, but it's just a fun movie. You haven't seen it, check it out. It's quick. It doesn't test your brain very much. It's got gory kills and funny lines. What more could you ask for from a monster movie?
Was that rhetorical? Was that rhetorical, or was that an actual question?
Just a rhetorical.
Okay, because that seems like a silly question to ask us. Because my answer would be like, no, there's nothing else you really want more. It just ticks all the boxes.
Mm-hmm. David, anything to say before we go?
Yeah, goodbye, everybody. This is short because you need to go watch this movie. It's awesome in such an entertaining way. You'll like it.
Neil?
What?
Anything to say?
No.
All right, well, hit us up on RVS Podcast.
Not even a rhetorical way.
Hit us up, rvspodcast222@gmail.com. We're on Threads. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. So if you want to hit us up, if you want to contribute to the cause, buy me a coffee, look for the Retro Video Store. We would appreciate it.
Oh, Threads. I think someone who followed us on Instagram has followed us over on Threads.
Nice.
I noticed they liked a couple posts. I'm still trying to figure out how that works, how to get that algorithm, and I need to find some interesting people. So if any of you, any of the four of you that listen are on Threads, hit us up. Point me in some directions. All I'm getting is some stuff about like open castings and things like that. And I'm thinking about calling one of them up because they're looking for a dude in their 50s to play a dad. And I'm like, dude, I do that every day for free.
All right, I'd like to see you on a sitcom.
No, you'd be the only one.
All right. Have fun, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good week.
Thank you for listening to the Retro Video Store Podcast.